Hello, hello, hello. Hi, folks. This is your African diaspora teacher coming out straight from the sunny city here in the U.S. Um, Today, we're going to be clearing out some misconceptions about the industrialization of Africa. You see, the industrialization of Africa got to be designed according to our environment and spearheaded by Africans for the African that we want. Okay. But in what I just said, besides that, what I just said, a lot of people think investors from outside Africa have to do have to drive the industrialization of Africa. But I don't know what they've been taking, what pills they've been taking to come with that conception, or to come about that conception that we have to team up with Europeans or Chinese to drive the industrialization of our continent the way we want it. And to some extent, other people have been so glad that, South African white people, not South African black people, South Africa with its white industrial base could be the engine of Africa's industrialization. Again, I say, where are these people? What have they been taking? What have they been taking to think South African white industrial base? Not white. No, there's nobody white. Okay, Caucasian industrial base. People will be okay. Industrial Caucasian industrial base will be the driving force to industrialize Africa. So they put all their hopes on Caucasians and their little industrial base in South Africa. It has been a disappointment. Since 1994-95, South Africa came out to be independent from these criminals. Africans, and their leaders think, this could be the breakthrough. Since then, there has been a disappointment on that side. I know for a long time that can never be it's far from the truth, because you have to find out look at the track record of the people that you think can drive your industrialization. A cheat, a thief, a criminal who has been looting you could come and empower you. Industrialization means empowerment. And its bedrock is total independence, independence. Technology will give you the independence. Technology in arms will keep the criminals away. If you can make your own arms, then you can strengthen your military. Then you can sign pact with Nigeria if you are another country. If you're Ghana, sign pact with Togo, Benin, and strengthen and distribute or transfer the technology within brothers. That gives you independence from criminals. That gives you security from criminals who want to take your shit for free. So you got to take a look at South Africa in itself. The Caucasians are there. They have some level of technology from their brothers in Europe and in America. They will share shit with them. Little secret, little tricks with them. Okay. South Africa controls, if if I'll be true to myself, South Africa controls 80% of the good land in South Africa. I mean, the Caucasians in South Africa control, being 8% of the population, or even 4%. People say 10%. I don't believe that bullshit. Because who is making the narrative? Who is BBC, CNN, Time Magazine? Okay, so you don't go by that bullshit. Anything that these people say. Caucasians in South Africa are 5% of the population, controlling 90% of the burst land of South Africa. They don't want to let go until something comes and force them to let go. So they are enjoying a very enviable position and a privilege for having all that wealth in their hands. Do you think these people will industrialize South Africa so that the 90% black people can get job and move up to middle income earning? No. They won't do that. So if they cannot do that in their own country, and that's the reason why there's so much unemployment in South Africa. It's not that simply because they cannot produce things, they cannot set up factories and industries. They can. But the other side of that is Caucasians are high profit driven humans. That's the way God designed them. They've been wired differently to take air from atmosphere where everybody lives for themselves, to take water from the atmosphere where everybody lives for themselves, to take resources from everybody else for themselves, no matter how little their numbers are. Okay, so South Africa could not set up industries and employ the mass majority of the people who threaten their existence. The majority threaten their existence. Okay, Caucasians scared of high number of people. It freaked them out because they are minority taking food from the majority. So every time in every society they find themselves, they are the minority taking things from the majority. So they have this phobia. Caucasians have this phobia of the majority will wake up on us, just they did in Haiti, and they will, reverse our gains and our privileges. So what they do to maintain their privilege and their lead over the majority is to cripple them. That is the way they are wired. That's the way they think. That's the way they dream. If I cripple these people economically, then they can't come close to me. Then they cannot even look prettier than me. I got to reduce them to poverty so that, I can wear the best clothes than them. So that I could look better than them. Because on a physical level, a Caucasian can stand a black man. Not even the worst black man. So the only way the Caucasian can feel secure within himself is to reduce the people around him that are not pale or Caucasian to a situation where he can feel this psychology, I'm telling you, this psychology 101, so that he can feel confident about himself. That is why they all the time seclude themselves, live in a different area so that you don't come in. Even if you are coming naked, if you're a black man coming naked into their society, that is even a threat. Because your physical body is just there. You know what I mean? You haven't even put on singlet yet, underwear yet. Let alone come and put some Versace or put on some some beautiful African attire. You haven't done that yet. It has nothing to do with even Versace. Forget about Versace. Just put on your best African clothes and you win. You already won by this margin. So here you are coming naked, dirty, but still you could win on a physical level. You could win the game. So for that reason, they put poverty on you so that they can feel good about themselves, so that they can buy the best cars than you walking. Even if you are walking, a Caucasian feel threatened. It happened to me before in Belgium. I was minding my own business, nicely dressed, much younger, around 27, standing on the roadside, waiting for a bus in a suburb of, this European nation. I went and do some little job for a man. And after the painting and everything, cleaned myself nicely. And I wear the best of my best, waiting for a bus. A man passed by in a convertible vehicle, automobile, circled around, came back, and spat. I said, hell no, you won't bring my spirit down. If I, who is waiting for a bus, and you who is in a convertible, it was a summertime, beautiful summertime, okay, in a European countryside. And if you could go around seeing me on a bus stop, I'm alone, and you could go circle around and come to prove, to come and do something that will, get my attention, that you think I'm a lesser than you, then you have a problem. You have a convertible, you saw me, you move by, and you have to go circle around, come back to prove that you are better than me. No, you are sick. Because I was nicely dressed, waiting for a bus. Nicely dressed, not a suit, not anything, just I was decently dressed, neat, and coordinated. And this guy felt so threatened. You are in a convertible, a brand new car, I'm waiting for a bus. If I'm that inferior, you just have to move on. You see, this is a psychology a lot of people, don't get. If you get all these things quicker in life, you'll be so okay. Okay, so based on that, you could know how these people want you to be so poor, because they can't stand you to have anything. So if these people have this mentality, this way of thinking about you, how could they set up factories, industries, and educate you better to run them industry, even though they could be the CEO and the president? Because when the industries are set up all over South Africa, you climb the corporate ladder, the industrial ladder. You become the best engineers in the industry. You could move your people from wherever they are into a better housing. Your children go to the best schools because you are an engineer. Even if you learn by the hand, on a job training, you will get improvement. You will be promoted. Your income will be better. South African can set up factories in South Africa to bring goods, to produce goods for Africa. But if they do, you can't even buy the product because they put so much premium on it. Then again, if such industrial base is in South Africa for the 1.3 billion Africans on the continent, then the people who are supposed to get job first will be the South African blacks that they don't want to employ in the first place. And if anything like that happens, then the South Africans will move into, a better position that they'll pose a threat to Caucasians in South Africa. A black man doing very well in their millions, let's say 20 million South Africans got a better job through the industrial base of Caucasians in South Africa. All Caucasian girls will marry black men And that will be the end of Caucasians in South Africa. So if they're poor and wasting on alcohol, acting a fool, then the Caucasian women will stay away from them. You see, they will stay away from them. But on the flip side, they will get attracted to them. Even white men, or so-called white men, Caucasian men in South Africa won't get even their own women to marry if black people are doing very well. You see, so the scenario that I just painted to you is what will make Caucasian industrial base non-existent in South Africa. And if it ever exists, Caucasians are not wired to produce products cheaper. So even if there is an industrial base of Caucasians in South Africa, they won't beat China because it's not in their DNA. They are not wired to produce industrial-based products at a price where Africans can buy it. It's in their DNA to sell anything to Africans at a premium. You see. So when, now back to the technocrats all over Africa, including Ghana, who thinks South African Caucasian industrial base can save Africa, now you can see the reason why it cannot. It can't even come to fruition. You see, only Africans can create their own industrial base, produce things cheaply for Africans. You see. So you ministers, parliamentarians of various African nations, quit thinking South Africa industrial base of Caucasians can save the continent. No, they are not wired like that. I saw a documentary in Namibia. They say they have 2-point-something million people in Namibia. Fine, a big nation with a little population. And in the documentary, black people, Namibians were hanging around roadside waiting for a job. Some of them are cleaning houses for the few German remnants over there. They say their population is 500,000. Fine, maybe 500,000, 300,000, I guess, maybe 200,000. Now, how can you live or depend on these 200,000, which they say they are 500,000 German remnants, Caucasians, a whole lot probably uneducated, because they were just farmers. I'm not saying farmers are not educated, but these people, we think we overrate them to think each of them is some highly educated people. They don't like school, just as most black people don't like school. But when you steal somebody's land and become a farmer and steal their grandfather's cattle and have a little worth for yourself, and speaking German or speaking English, everybody will think, and driving a beautiful car coming out from the stolen things that you get, everybody would think you are well educated because you have all the little luxuries and decently dressed, neatly. So people may think, once you have money, most Africans think like that. Once you have money, you're driving a car, you are well educated. And if you are a Caucasian, you may have some education in your head, not too fast. Okay, so now this 500,000 people, let's say 500,000 people, if you take children out of it and the elderly out of it, and the middle that is active, how many jobs can they create in Namibia? You see? How many jobs that these people... So because of that, there's so much unemployment in Namibia. So much unemployment because they are waiting for these remnants of German remnants, the people who killed their ancestors, to create jobs for them. Because everybody thinks Caucasians are supposed to be investors. What about Dangotes? Anytime we're talking about investors, we don't think about the Dangotes in Africa. There are many in Africa. It doesn't come. Our journalists don't even mention them. And in South Africa, they think these criminals are the investors, and the Africans who are coming, who in a due course, the Nigerians will make more job in South Africa than the Caucasians put together if you just let them live. Okay, and they will create profit-bearing, and train their kinds who are indigenous to South Africa better than Caucasians who have been there for 300 years and never want to train anybody because of the competition. You see, the people who are coming from outside into Africa cannot and will not create industrial base to propel Africa the way we want it. You see, so we have to invest in technology, new ideas, small industries, small agric machineries, so that we can take off. You see, we are in a race with a people who cripple you. You see, they will cripple you and say, let's go for a run. And in that 100-meter dash, they will position themselves on the 75th meter. After you've been crippled, they will position themselves on the 75th meter to the completion of 100 meter. And then after crippling you, put you at the beginning of the line. And they will take a lead of the 75th meter. Then tell the man to say, beep. And when he wins, the Time magazine, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Le Soir of France will put him as the fastest man in the world. They won't talk about how he crippled you. You came to the race crippled, not with a wheelchair. And he stole the race by putting himself on the 75th meter and said, let's go for a race. This is what you've been dealing with, Africans. A cheat and a criminal. A cheat and a criminal. You see? And it's in their blood. Nancy Kerrigan and Tonya Harding, 1995 or 96. Nancy Kerrigan was the American figure skating champion with Tonya Harding. Both of them American, Caucasian ladies. One have to win over the other to move on to the next level in the Winter Olympics. Tonya Harding employed a thug who went and clubbed Nancy Kerrigan. Nancy Kerrigan has been favored by the American public as the Cinderella. Both American, both Caucasian, both American, both U.S. citizens in a Winter Olympic game. Tonya Harding paid somebody, finally they find a very bully guy who clubbed Nancy Kerrigan on the knee with a baseball bat. Pam! And run away. At the camp that they were all, staying under one flag. So that if Nancy's leg got crippled, then she will not, compete better, or she will not do very well. Then then Tonya Harding will win over her and become and move on to the next level. Teammates teammates under one flag. So when I'm talking about crippling a person, I know what I'm talking about. So Tonya Harding have to be allowed to heal and win ahead, and then, I think win the game and move on to the next level. And I think she won the Olympic medal. And Tonya Harding was found out to be the culprit and was sacked, disqualified from the game. Came home, shamed. So I know what I'm talking about. So we have so many Tonya Hardings on our ass, crippling us, and say, let's go for a game. Too many Tonya Harding, too many knee kicking, too many limb breaking. And then they say, little Malawi, go and, talk with America on economic. Go in a ring with America. Go in a ring with China. Go in a ring with the EU. Little Togo, little Benin, little Nigeria. Come, let's talk. Let's go to the World Economic Forum in some small town, Switzerland. Doha, whatever they call it. And let's discuss business, how the world economy will go. You're coming as an underdog, mingling with people who have been raping African resources for only God knows. Now they are so wealthy, and they want you to come to that place, a small village in Switzerland. Let's talk about the world economy under a World Economic Forum. And you think they're going to listen to your plight, your unemployment youth in Africa, when they are the ones stealing? They steal so much from Africa, they become so rich, so wealthy. There was a DW, a German DW documentary. I think it's called White Poverty. I don't know if it's DW or another, but just Google White Poverty or YouTube White Poverty. In that documentary, it was revealed that a town in Switzerland where all the miners reside, a town in Switzerland where all the who is who in mining in Africa live. The town is so rich that they have surpluses at the town hall. Surpluses from, taxing the residents. After, increasing payment and after increasing everybody's salary millionfold, there was still surplus. So they call a meeting of the residents and say, we have this surplus because every year the money keep coming, the taxes from, they don't have a problem paying their taxes and their property taxes and their vehicular taxes and automobile taxes and the sales taxes. The money just come tripling after increasing salaries over millionfold. So they called a meeting. Go and watch it, White Poverty. And they said, this money that we have and it's been increasing every year, we want to send it to Africa. Let's take a vote. They voted against it to send the money to Africa on poverty reduction projects across Africa. The residents who got their money mining from Africa, the residents, I think Kofi Annan's wife from that village, Kofi Annan's wife. Just listen to that. The resident shut it down. They say, no, this money ain't going to Africa. Yes, we stole the money from Africa. We didn't pay taxes on the mining that we're doing in Africa. We undercounted all the minerals we're pulling out of Africa to the government that we're dealing with into offshore. We suffer to steal from Africa, so it ain't going back. And it's true. No criminal will bring your stuff back to you. It's just normal. Do you know how hard it is to go and rob on a highway? Do you know how hard the courage that it takes to rob? The courage that it takes to even mean people, look women in their eyes and take their money from them. Do you know the kind of courage it takes? Take money from young people who their parents send them to go and give that money to somebody. Do you know what it is? And the cry that these people will be crying when you run into the jungle with all that money and resources that from these people, their gold chain, watch, cell phone, and their money. Do you know the courage that it takes? Then after doing that, you say, you know what, I have full remorse. After spending some of this money, I have so much. Let me go back. Let me go look for these women and give them their money. It never happened. It never happened before. Criminals don't bring back their stolen starch. Criminals don't do that. So these people in Switzerland town, where 95% of the town residents were miners, mining moguls who mine in Africa, refused their city hall to return a surplus money to Africa to undertake certain, poverty reduction stuff. I'm not surprised. Are you surprised? Let me hear from you if you're surprised. And anyway, some of you will be surprised because you naively, I don't know how the English word goes. You crazily think these people have our best interest at heart. We've been naive about our relationship with criminals. Some of you call them colonial master. The man ain't no master. A master is a person who will train you. Listen to me. A master is a person who will train you so that if he is not there, you could do better. You could add more knowledge to what he taught you. A master is a person who will believe in you that what are the tricks that I'm teaching you, whatever that I'm teaching you, you could grow and do better. And I will sit back and feel glad in my heart that I'm the one who taught him. But see, you are adding your own twist to it. That's a master. But a person who will downgrade your mind, who will play tricks on you to look up to him all the time, is no master. So I don't know why well-educated people, our presidents, ministers, keep calling these people colonial master. Master of what? Master of thievery? Master of lies? Master of what? Colonial criminal or colonial murderer? Leopold and his crew, murderers. Okay? The French and their people, murderers. The English, the Queen, the royal family, and their enslavement, murderers. Don't sugarcoat shit. When you call people the way they're supposed to be called, they will have respect for you.